SchmutzCast 25. We're good. We're going.
Wait, it's 25?
Money, we're flowing.
25?
This is 25.
We're a quarter of the way to a century.
Damn.
I think this is 25. It's either 20. It's 25. It's
25
25.
to
Even
us.
if it's not 25, it's gonna be 25.
If it's not 25, we're skipping 24.
Yeah.
Well, I know we've done 24.
73 and a quarter.
73
and a quarter.
Yes. You were asking why the straw on this
That
iced
straw is
coffee
fucking
is so big?
stupid.
Well,
That straw is fucking ridiculous.
Megan bought these.
Well,
and-
I mean, I'm sorry to Megan, but what the fuck? Who needs a
That's a
straw that
baseball-
Here's next to
large?
my finger for
For the audio.
John's
only
got
love
very
listening to
small
this straw.
fingers.
John has
Makes it look
small
bigger.
fingers, and this straw just emasculates him.
Well, I don't like black coffee, even though that's not far off from black coffee. But I
That
don't
looks
like
as
black
far as
coffee.
you
Yeah,
can
that
go from
looks
black
pretty
coffee as you
creamy,
can possibly
bro.
get.
I mean, it's
That is
creamy, but
blonde
there's
coffee.
there's
Yeah,
nothing
blonde
other
coffee,
than
yeah.
like a pinch of creamer.
Like, that's
A
what
pinch of creamer.
fucking
I
Hannah
got
be
all you
ordering
need.
every day from Starbucks, bro. That's
So-
like milk.
This is milk.
Bro, fuck Starbucks. This
see-
shit
Bro,
is too
fuck
expensive.
Did you see that we're
Starbucks.
getting
It's too
a
expensive.
Dunkin' in our...
According, yeah.
What?
I'm not surprised.
In a Dunkin'? Like the
Yeah.
donuts?
Yeah, you know where like
The
the
donut
it's like
variety.
the old gas station was right next to like the Lee's and the
Oh.
and Arby's and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Dunkin' going in there.
Are they? They're not taking the Arby's out, right?
Fuck no.
I doubt
Oh,
it.
Okay, good.
I remember what I was
The
going to
Arby's
say
is
before the
what I
podcast, and then you all said wait, or I said wait. So you know how your nose is there, right?
It's always.
Your nose is on your face.
Jordan
and
Jordan knows a little bit
No,
better than us, but you know.
I'm getting that.
Where are you going? Where are you going with this?
Where I'm going with this is, everybody's probably heard this, that you can see your nose, but your mind like edits that out like actively.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't.
I was gonna say, how does that work for you?
I can really see if I close one eye.
If you close one eye, you can see your nose.
It's like, you know,
Yeah, most people.
How much can you see of your nose? A full half schnoz?
I can see the tip pretty well.
Well, see, here's
Um,
here's the reason why your mind edits it out. All right, it's actually scientific.
It's big nose.
So here's the reason why. So if you think about each eye is looking right, and it's got its own visual thing. Well, what your mind does is whenever you focus on something that's closer, your eyes actually turn in to focus on that. But if you look at something further away, they're turning outward.
You know what's great
Now,
about that is you
what-
could totally have just made that up, and I would 100% believe
No,
you.
but
No, that's
it's
for
real.
sure true.
That's
Because
like-
if you take a picture with your phone, like right here, but you're looking past, your eyes are like that. And
Yeah.
that's like the easiest way to make goofy ass pictures too. Like,
Did you
What
learn that
about-
from your Hebrew group that you got?
we talk about goofy stuff a lot, and we like to make each other chuckle. And
We talk about other ways to save money.
He doesn't drop the hard H though.
no, not that group. Not that. We try to avoid that as often as possible. While still
We're making Brandon very uncomfortable.
I'm always uncomfortable though, so it's just like varying degrees. Of
I love that hat though. That hat's
Don't talk to
fucking
me.
fire. Okay.
But so back on
I still love your hat.
back on this thing of the
You're
eyes.
I appreciate it.
All right,
That means
what?
a lot.
Back on this thing of the eyes looking
Eyes
at the nose.
looking at the nose.
So what
It's
happens
because-
with like a
it's
fucking
because
turkey
your-
where their eyes are on the side of their head?
Your eyes.
Do they just always have their big dumbass like fucking snout? Snout like a horse, bro. They gotta be fucking in 0.5 all the time, bro.
They got wide angle lenses for eyes.
I thought, yeah, bro, those motherfuckers are stupid with the what's the opposite of isosceles?
Isosceles.
With them,
I haven't heard the word
with those obtuse
isosceles.
eyes,
Those
with that
obtuse-ass
obtuse ass vision, that bird ass vision.
They got them birds.
Nobody fucking.
I'm the biggest bird though.
You're the biggest turkey.
Big bird. Big bird.
I'm the biggest bird.
Eat you for Thanksgiving, pussy
Um,
boy.
Oh, I forgot to tell you all about March Madness, the Sweet 16 that I
Yeah.
went to.
Well, look at this
How
shirt
was
here. LT went to
Did you win?
Sweet 16.
I didn't win any bets, but I won in life because that was an.
Is that Crichton?
What was it?
It was Creighton and Princeton and Alabama and San Diego.
Who won those? San Diego State
San
won.
Diego
right?
State upset Alabama and Creighton beat Princeton.
Okay, so
Fuck Creighton.
Who's in the? So do we
It's
know who's
Creighton
in the,
versus San Diego State today at 2:20.
for the Final Four?
to go to the Final Four.
Dude,
It's
I saw the
Elite Eight
list
today.
of the Elite Eight. I was honestly very happy with it.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it before y'all got here. I think the selection committee really fucked up this year somewhere because
What?
like.
I think
Dude,
I love it when this shit happens.
No,
Yeah,
I
but,
love
like-
it too, but the seeds that they put are like it seems way off.
Well, I didn't watch college basketball, so I don't know.
I mean,
But
well, like,
I'll take your word for it.
Just looking
but-
at it in general, there's no one seeds after the Sweet 16. There is no one seeds.
I mean,
there.
it's just
that's
a,
crazy.
But
most
also-
years there are, so it's just like
It kind of
it's a
seems
fluke.
like all basketball teams. There are plenty of good college basketball teams this year, but there's no exceptional teams. Like usually there's like 2 or 3 like really fucking good basketball teams.
Good.
There's not.
Yeah.
There's not
Give
at
me a
all.
little parody, bro.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, I wanted Kansas State to do something so bad. I didn't even watch them at all till like the Sweet Six or the round of 32. And dude, fucking Noel, I can't remember his first name. That dude is probably one of the best college basketball
Marquise
players.
Noel.
Marquise Noel. That dude is probably one of the best college guards I've seen in so fucking long.
He reminds me a lot of Russ Smith from Louisville.
Dude,
back in the
the
day.
passes his ass would be making, the way he could handle the ball was so crazy.
Yeah, but he can drive on big men too. That's
Yeah.
he's a shoo-in for a lottery pick
He has
in the
to.
draft.
He has
for
to.
sure.
Do we know who's in the Final Four yet? I saw FAU is, which that's incredible.
FAU is, I think, the only team right now. No,
it's a
who
fourth
just
seed.
beat Gonzaga? UConn.
UConn.
UConn's in there
and
too?
FAU. I think UConn's gonna win it.
Fuck.
Honestly,
I
mean,
the teams that are left, I think UConn's got it.
Well,
I'm
I
pulling
hope.
for FAU. Dude.
Yeah, I want FAU to win.
Fuck
Fuck.
it.
Some 9 seed winning that.
I just
shit,
don't
that'd be
think it'll
crazy.
happen. I mean, they're good, but they got
mean,
away with
I
one
haven't
with
watched
Kansas State.
a
Kansas
single of
State
their
played like
games, so.
Dookie in their game.
Who-
Yeah, that was
yeah.
the only thing with Kansas State. They had Noel and they had I can't remember his name.
Well,
He was
there's
number
only
11.
so much you can
So
do
who's-
riding off of one player.
Who's the last
Yeah.
4 that are left competing? No.
They're the Elite Eight. There's 2 Elite Eight games
who's-
today.
What games are those?
It's Creighton and San Diego State, and
Of course, by the time this comes out,
Shit,
it'll be
I don't know.
decided already. But
I don't fucking remember now.
Oh, Christ.
Texas
yeah.
and Xavier. Or they
Yeah,
already-
yeah,
Did they already
uh,
play?
No, because
They haven't played
Xavier
yet.
just beat Houston, right? Xavier
No.
didn't Xavier play Houston?
I'm
no,
just gonna look it up.
Xavier did not play Houston.
Houston got
Yeah,
beat
it's-
by.
Somebody smoked
Miami.
Houston. Miami.
Miami's
got
So
some
Miami
dogs
is
too.
playing Texas. No, what is it?
Whoever won between Xavier and Texas then is who they would be playing. Because I know IU was in their
Miami,
second
Miami, and Texas.
Miami and Texas.
Holy shit, UConn. Smoke Gonzaga. That's
Oh
a
yeah,
fucking
they
28
fucking
pointer.
mollywopped them.
Dude, it made no sense
dunked it
Gonzaga
all.
even made it that fucking far, dude. I watched them in the game against UCLA. I only watched the first half, and dude, Timmy's the only fucking one that could play. Like everyone else,
Yeah,
fucking
well,
sucked.
Did you see that fucking one from the logo they dropped to end the fucking game?
No,
Dude, I was watching it in bed. It was like 1:30 in the morning, and like, UCLA had them, and Gonzaga was down by 2. Man ran up a logo and just fucking popped one from the logo and just bang, 14 seconds left. Like, it was crazy.
I don't know.
Which
Just-
round was it the night that we were playing at Alibi? Was it round
It's 32.
32.
round 32? I thought it was hilarious that so we were in the portion where Jordan was sitting down. We were
No,
doing
it was
a couple
first
of-
round. It was first round.
We were doing a couple of acoustic
No, it wasn't.
songs,
Because
and
Purdue lost that night.
Oh, yeah. But no, because Indiana lost that night.
no, Indiana won.
That was when they played Kent State.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Indiana was playing Miami that night.
Mm-mm.
It wasn't that night that they played Miami?
I was thinking it was, but it wasn't.
I remember
I
watching that
thought it
game
was
at the bar. Yeah.
hilarious because
You and I were out
We
back
were-
watching the Purdue game.
Yeah, I know. That's what has me fucking confused because I could have swore. I did watch the Miami game there. I was watching somebody playing Miami at the Alibi, and I thought it was Indiana, but I guess not.
we were in between songs, and I just see Jordan just barreling up towards the stage, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And he like comes up, he's like, "I need to say something."
Purdue lost.
I'm like, okay, so I move over, and he's like, "For those of you who don't know, Purdue just lost." That was the loudest I've ever heard that bar scream
Yeah,
and
that
shout.
bar.
Like,
That bar got.
Fuck
That bar.
Purdue.
They were like,
There was a
"God."
bunch of IU fans in that bar. That's why
Fuck
I
yeah,
did
there
that.
were.
It's like, Purdue just lost to a 16 seed.
Well, on another note, I went and seen John Wick 4.
Why
That's
was
what
trying
it
to
said.
talk
Did
and
his
was going to
dog
see that
come
last
back?
night.
Have you seen any of the rest of them?
No,
No.
You
Don't
haven't
go
seen
see
either?
it if you haven't seen the
You haven't
rest
even
of them.
seen the first
I
one?
haven't seen any of them.
I mean, it was okay.
Me either.
A
I don't really
A-
care.
Yeah.
fucking masterclass in just pure action movies. There is no better action scenes in movies than John Wick movies. Never, nothing even close. In John Wick 4, there's a scene that is so beautifully directed that I could never see anybody else doing it and doing it near
I
as
don't know.
good.
Mission Impossible.
They had
9 had Tom Cruise hanging on the side of a jet. That was pretty
Fuck
cool.
That was
shit.
real, too.
Fuck
yeah, that
That
was,
was
bro. He
real.
really took off
So-
in that shit.
In John Wick in this scene is in Berlin.
Where's
I think
that
he's
at?
in Berlin. Where's that at?
Explain to the people where that's at.
Yeah,
Joey.
explain to
For
the-
those who don't know.
For those who don't know,
I'm
we
gonna
gotta
assume
go a
you
little
know
far
where
back.
Berlin is. They have a over the top shot. He's in like a museum that has like those half walls. So like this floor is like 2 stories, but the walls only go up 1 story. And it's like the camera is floating above these rooms and following John Wick. He's got this fucking shotgun with dragon breath shells in it. You know what dragon breath is, where it catches him on fire. And the camera's just following him over top shot, and he's just fucking piecing people up with this dragon breath. And he's like sliding around, and Keanu Reeves does all of his own fucking stunts. Like, there's one scene where he rolls down like 10 flights of fucking stairs in a row, and it's one continuous fucking shot. Man is an animal.
Speaking of Keanu Reeves, I saw this video earlier, and it was people talking about how, like, apparently he helps people. He helps, like, the crew carry shit in, I guess,
Yeah.
or something. And there was someone defending, being like, for whoever's saying that's not a big deal, has never worked in show business. Now, granted, like, I understand that and I respect that, like, that he was doing that. I think it's just nice to help them out.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys know better than I do why that was such a big deal, I guess.
Because stars don't do that shit.
No, yeah.
Is
Stars stay in the truck until
Yeah,
they
stay in the
action.
fucking truck until they
Mhm.
got to shoot.
I was
for
just
most
curious.
part.
I saw that this morning. I was
You don't see a lot of those action stars or movie stars in general
Yeah.
hanging out on set until it's
Well, it's hard.
action
It's
time.
hard to do blow discreetly when you're on
Exactly.
set. So they go back to the
Exactly.
trailer. Makes things a little.
Well,
easier.
and Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves, like,
Not saying Keanu's a cokehead, but
he is like legitimately. He seems like a legit cool ass dude,
Well,
just
yeah,
a chill guy.
That's what I was
I
saying.
mean,
Like, no discredit to
doesn't-
him. I was just curious why. I was asked that. Like,
I think
that
there's
was
not
more
many
out of
people that
curiosity.
do that. I noticed, like the one thing I liked about the Jackass crew with the Jackass movies is like, yeah, they're shooting scenes, and some of it is like scripted, but like the injuries are not scripted. The shit like that, and they're all just hanging out on set,
Yeah.
doing everything. Like the people in Jackass help with fucking lighting and like all kinds of shit. They'll do it all.
like in Django Unchained, when Leo DiCaprio smacks his hand on the table and he really broke the glass and
Yeah.
his hand really starts
That's fucking
bleeding.
badass.
Yeah, it
So
Or Aragon.
I
kicking
did
that
makes it
watch-
a little more
helmet.
real. You know, I like seeing them really injured.
you all mentioned This Is the End before the podcast. I watched that the other day,
What's that?
and that was a perfect view of how I see like actors in Hollywood, because James Franco's like I think it's James Franco that says it. He's like, they'll come save us first. We're actors. We bring joy to the world. They'll come get us first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is exactly how they'd fucking be. And like, I don't know, more and more as days go on, I want a fucking like a society more aligned towards socialism.
You know, Peter Griffin. Peter Griffin tried that once with Petopia. Petertopia.
Pretoria.
Pretoria. And he
Because it was going to be Peterland, but that was the name of the gay bar down the road already.
Pretoria, and he took over. Whose swimming pool did he take over?
Joe's.
Joe's. He took over Joe's swimming pool. You should do something like that. You take over your neighbors.
Take over your neighbors.
Yeah,
or
take
whatever.
over
I
your
just
neighbor.
would rather have. I would rather have a society where like it's not. There's not different values for positions in like different industries. Like
Yeah.
your boss is your boss because he manages things, not because like he's the best of the best and needs to be paid the best of the best. Like, and everybody kind of everybody in the company kind of shares in it.
Hmm.
I
mean, yeah, you're just. I mean, you're like there are plenty of companies, not in America, but in other countries that like they pay out to their employees. Like, is that what you're talking about? Like to where like employees get part of the
Yes.
profits.
Okay. So
Yeah, 'cause that's-
so we can expand on that. So
yeah,
there,
I mean,
a
that's
company
that's
I
a
used to work
collectivist
for.
concept, yeah.
Down the road, it's a woodworking place. They would give out bonuses every quarter, and those bonuses were fucking nice. It was like a whole nother paycheck, and it was nice as hell every quarter.
Yeah.
But with that being said, so you say you give a paycheck to each employee. There's probably 300 employees. That's I'd say probably around $300,000-$400,000.
Probably.
You're probably looking at that easy. And the people that own that company are filthy, stinking, nasty rich. They're rich as fuck. Dude's got an amusement park in his fucking backyard. Like, no shit. Like, he's got like a roller coaster in his fucking backyard.
That'd be fucking sweet.
But like, the thing to me, my thought mentally is like, what is that guy doing?
Oh, nothing.
In comparison to the guy that's running the machine, running a
nothing.
board through the machine.
Nothing. I mean, technically, he started it.
He started it.
He
See,
started it.
That's where it is.
Right.
That's where the
Technically.
difference is. He
But on a
started
day-to-day
it, so
basis,
now,
on a
day-to-day
day-to-day basis,
Now there's
whose life brings more value? You know.
Who brings more
Yeah.
value to that company?
I mean, I don't. Probably
So
the little man hauling
The little
wood.
man hauling the wood.
Hauling the wood. Huh.
here's what I've heard about stuff like that too. It's kind of like a.
Let
and
me
I'm not
tell
saying
y'all
that
about
I-
this
I'm not saying
socialism
that I
bullshit.
totally agree with it or not. I'm kind of indifferent. Like I see both sides of the coin for this.
That's fair.
They are making the bigger bucks because they have the higher risk. If something were to happen to that company,
Bullshit.
Well, they
they're
don't have
out
the
that much more. They're
don't-
out
But
that
they're
much
not
more money.
personally
They're
out.
They're
out
more invested.
profits. But if that company goes under, who's in the worst spot? The guy running the machine or the guy that's been making millions for the past 30 years?
See, so how hard is it for him to start up another business like that versus how hard is it for you to find another woodworking place?
Well, it's a
Okay,
lot
but also-
well, not just that. Talking about the guy with all the money is not at risk of losing his fucking house.
Yeah.
At that point,
That's
you
You
know.
don't-
He
could be
doesn't
then.
have to worry
He
about
could, he
not
could
paying
be,
his
but
bills.
He's
what's
got-
he gonna? Is he gonna? He's gonna downgrade from a mansion and get a fucking $100,000 house like the rest of us and be able to live
most
just
of
fine.
most of those
Yeah.
most of their money, like in those big businesses, from what I understand, is invested money within that company. So they don't have that.
They
liquid
tell you
instantly.
that. They tell you that. That's,
don't
No,
have
that's
that-
they do that.
They don't have that
What?
liquid
I'm
I'm
instantly.
accounting for people like that.
Yeah, they don't have that money.
They-
liquid.
Is it? Are you talking
Wait,
a
what?
non-profit?
They don't have that
'Cause that's a
money liquid.
non-profit.
I've
No,
got
like
lost in the conversation.
he
What do we
is an owner of a construction company, and he has like $100,000 that he put into the company.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's-
that's you have to
that's
do that
normal,
as a
yeah.
business owner.
Yes.
Yes,
normal.
But
and
what
that's
I'm-
why he's got a higher risk because he's got more money invested
Well, sure, but
versus
that's
versus the workers. Now, like I'm saying, I'm not.
Well,
I
it's
see
also
both
how
sides
you
of the coin.
define risk too. It's also how you define risk.
But also, you think he has the opportunity to invest that money back in. The little man does. He ain't got enough money to barely pay his mortgage. So how's he gonna invest in anything?
So he
when-
can keep his company moving. So he can keep it going.
I understand, but like, so when you say risk, yes, he's got plenty of risk to lose his company. The guy at the bottom, he can go get another job. You're absolutely right. But his net worth, he has a lot less risk of losing any amount on his net worth in
Right.
comparison to
Well,
a guy
let's-
that
let's
that
look.
is-
Let's look at a real world example here: the 2008 financial crisis. Right, all the fucking people that worked at Freddie Mac and that worked, at Wall Street, Goldman Sachs, that took on all that fucking unleveraged mortgage debt that they shouldn't have been taking on. The little person is the one who fucking had to hit the bricks whenever their house got foreclosed on. All the people on Wall Street, they still got bonuses through all that shit.
Oh yeah.
Through all that shit. So it's like, when I think about it, I look at it. When's the last time a rich motherfucker ever helped me?
Yeah.
All the people that have been giving me jobs, they're broke as shit in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
I don't feel if you win capitalism, congratulations. But I'm not gonna suck your dick over it.
Well, also,
because I'm broke, motherfucker.
I swear.
I don't give a shit how rich you are, bro.
As an example,
do
though,
something for me.
think of
Do
your
something for
company,
me.
like the CEO, the creator of the company.
Okay.
The creator of that company down the line gave you a job. He probably doesn't know your fucking name.
He
Sure.
probably doesn't because
He probably doesn't know
big-
your fucking
big
name.
the
company,
last place
yeah.
I worked at, definitely they knew
Well,
everyone's name.
And that's still
But-
okay, I would say.
Small,
But
small.
that's still
I think-
okay.
I think-
I'm fine with big companies.
I think
for sure.
John and I are defending a bit more smaller companies. I think you guys.
Yeah,
are talking
yeah,
a bit
yeah.
more
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Well, I'm
larger.
talking. I'm
100%.
talking corporations. So like,
Yeah.
so
Oh.
the guy running that business that created that company,
Mhm.
he is down the line giving you your paycheck.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So he's giving you your paycheck. That is the only thing he does for you. What do you do for him?
I make
fucking
his-
lot.
I make sure his
A
operation
fucking lot.
runs smoothly.
Okay, so
Runs
that company goes under. That dude's still eating filet mignon every night.
But if that
What are you eating every night?
if that company, now hear me out on this. If that company gets any kind of big lawsuit, who do they attack? Me or do they attack the big guy? They attack the big guy.
Okay.
They don't attack me.
Okay, they attack
So-
the big guy, but when they
Right,
attack
but
the big guy, you're the first to go.
The big guy isn't probably. I mean, well, I guess depending on the circumstance, wouldn't be personally liable. He'd be liable in the context of the
It's
company.
the corporate veil.
and the
Yeah,
money
the
he
corporate
loses
veil,
all
yeah.
only affects you. The more money he loses, the more your
And
job is at risk.
And I do want to back in John's point, what and Jordan's point, what they just said, that it is definitely different for big corporations versus small corporations. Because
Yeah,
like, to
100%.
go back to 2008, like obviously the big guys on Wall Street, you know, they didn't take a fucking
Yeah.
hit. But Mike's hardware store down in fucking New Albany, it's not a real place. It's just an
Yeah.
example. You know, where it's one dude owning it that owned it for 25 fucking years, got it from his grandpa.
Yeah.
Shuts down. Yeah, he's got bigger fucking personal liability than
Yeah.
his employees do, obviously. But it's just, I think, yeah, we have to take notice of the company
So, like,
size too,
when you
of
were talking
course.
about investing back
Of
into a
course.
company, I want to make it clear. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about the company I work for.
Right.
um,
Well, sure, no,
yeah.
Because-
yeah, I mean, it's,
Because the company I work for is a nonprofit, so like they legit do put everything they earn back into the company. Like the CEO of my company, she's a super nice lady, and she like drives an average car. I don't know about her house. I don't
Yeah.
know about her personal life. She definitely makes more money than me, but she makes an infinitesimal amount to like a normal CEO
Yeah,
of
sure.
of a company, and like they're. I don't know. I like the idea of a nonprofit, but also I understand in a capitalist society how
ooh, sure.
nonprofits just it's hard.
I think
It's
that
hard.
it's hard to like to pinpoint like one single person like the CEO, because the CEO, yeah, from the surface it looks like, oh, they don't have to answer to anyone. Well, they have to answer to the private investors, the private owners,
Right, but that's
And
their
the
job.
government.
But that's their job, right?
They also have to answer to the government directly because they get grants for being a nonprofit.
Well, sure,
Yeah.
but
That's basically how they keep.
But
running.
that's their job.
It's-
that's
it's-
their
Yeah,
job.
yeah,
that's
that's
what they're
part
being
of it,
paid to
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think anywhere that, you know, there's no top of the line. I don't feel like there's any top of the line in any company, because there's always someone that's answering to someone else.
No,
I
well,
agree.
that's true with everything in
Yeah.
life. You know, I
So-
mean, everybody's
The way
Gotta answer
it
to somebody.
sounds like would be an awesome way to work, but it would never happen in America. Is like, so I'm gonna give an example of the woodworking factory again. So you had the
Sure.
salesman
Mhm.
in the building with the people that would pull the stock and pack the orders of trim and wood. Okay, so in the society we live in now,
Mhm.
the salesman is worth more, right?
probably because he would
He
ultimately
is.
bring more money to the
Yes.
company. Yeah.
Ultimately, the salesman is thought of as a more important piece of the puzzle.
revenue generating.
Revenue generating, more
Sure.
important piece to the
Sure.
puzzle. But every single day I worked there, I thought about it. I thought, what happens if this building just doesn't show up today? Or what happens if this building doesn't
And
just show
you,
up today?
You have now learned what collective bargaining means.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, the whole point...
Were you all union?
No.
Really?
Nope.
Why?
Well, I think they fought that off with the
Oh.
bonuses.
Mm.
Well, that's kind of part of it. That's
Yeah.
why you have all the benefits. That's why they want to provide like things like that. So then it kind of counteracts that
Yeah,
idea.
they
of,
don't
like,
want-
You know what's kind of fucked about that company, just a little aside, is those bonuses only still happen because it was their mother's last dying wish,
Really?
was for them to give back to the employees.
Well, good.
My sneaking suspicion is they don't want to fucking do that, because every time they
I'm
do a
sure
bonus,
that's
they would say,
300
this is
grand.
my mother's dying wish. They would say that every time.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm
Well,
like,
maybe that's just to get some goodwill from the employees, I guess. But I mean, but
seems pretty.
I mean, it's a good thing that they give bonuses.
When
It
you're
is-
when
it
you're
is
when
great,
you're a
yeah.
company owner, you gotta be very careful about all the things you say
Yeah.
too. That might
Yeah.
just be a whole thing where it's like, look at what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is what
Yeah.
my
It's a
mother
PR
wanted.
kind of
That's
thing.
definitely like a that definitely.
It's
sounds
definitely
like
a PR
type
thing.
of
Yeah,
thing.
and a good
Um,
one too. I mean, because
No,
she
yeah.
had a great dying wish.
Yeah.
If anything, give
I mean, my buddy
absolutely.
that still works there got like a fucking like 10 grand.
Yowza.
I used to get like $1,000 every quarter,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Holy fuck.
But like,
What did it go off? Like how long you been there, or like
it would
how
go
much-
off
how much
of
you're
it would
paid?
go how long you been there and what the profits were, because
Yeah.
apparently they made money hand over fist because of COVID, because a bunch of woodworking factories like shut down all over the country, and they didn't. So I guess
Fuck
they took
yeah.
over. But yeah, I've been really aggravated lately with how I mean, I have been since I fucking graduated high school, but just the distribution of like wealth, and not even just distribution of wealth. Like, there's so many different problems. Like, distribution of knowledge is getting so much worse lately because of all the
sure.
scum and
50%
gunk on the
of
internet.
Americans read at a 6th grade or lower level.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
50%. That's half of people. If you walk into a Walmart, half of them are so fucking stupid. I mean, nothing against them, but like,
It's not their fault.
if you put Moby Dick in their face, they couldn't finish it.
I think that
And
that also just comes off of like
it's
poor government spending
it's-
towards education. It needs more
absolutely.
education spending.
it's so fucking sad.
I firmly believe that.
It's so knowledge is power, bro. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's why Fahrenheit 451. That's why that fucking book was ever written.
Burning
For
the
shit
books.
like
Well,
that.
sure, yeah.
Get rid of the knowledge, then the people can't revolt. They're too fucking stupid.
I mean, yeah, and in that book, that's a great book. Because
Fantastic.
I see like fucking parallels, right? So
All
in
the time,
451
bro.
and
Oh, yeah.
451 they have I don't know the last time you all read it, but
It's
they
been
high school.
couple
high school.
years.
Yeah,
I read it after high school. I'm pretty sure.
really,
It
it's
was
a
probably
great
like a
fucking
year
book.
after.
I read it again.
I know we read it in school.
Yeah,
I read
oh,
it
for
in
sure.
school, but
yeah.
like I barely
Well,
paid attention.
we should
in
be-
I
school,
didn't
so
actually read it. I
I-
sparked notes.
It should be
I-
mandatory, honestly. It should
I
be
read it
mandatory.
after.
Right.
That book specifically
But-
should be mandatory.
Anyway, back to the point. I was gonna say, I really think within like the next 15 or 20 years, we're gonna have the whole like wall screens like they have in Fahrenheit 451, whether it's like I can't. It's gonna be fucking crazy. Like, I feel like AI, whenever that shit really starts hitting, and you're gonna be able to have like they have that where they have like a fucking family that they talk to and interact instead of just watching TV all the time and
Mhm.
just have drama and shit just
So you're
blasted right
talking-
into them from the walls. Like,
You talk about the AI.
uh-huh. The AI is so cool.
I had
So
a really
cool.
interesting conversation with one of the local bar owners yesterday.
Uh-huh.
The bar that just got bought out in Georgetown there.
Oh,
talking to him.
shit, yeah.
We were talking to him about like just trying to network to get a show there, but he was talking about how he used to. He basically he owns a construction company nationwide, or he's a part owner in it or something like that, and they do all the big Amazons that go up. So like the Amazon that just went
Yeah.
up here,
Damn.
he did that.
Good for him.
So he's doing pretty good, and he was talking about how a lot of these Amazons, they're all completely robotic and everything, and he said how they have their criteria where they're supposed to stay in this spot and just do this job. He said, but he's seen time and time again that in these Amazon plants, these robots, they start to communicate with each other and start to go off task and do other stuff within,
Cool.
and they have to shut those robots down like instantly and like restart them. He said
That's
it's
crazy.
He said it's the weirdest, scariest thing. And he said, and whenever they
Yeah.
do their fire drills, the robots, they're so smart, they'll all line up single file
Fire drill?
and go out. The robots partake in the fire drills.
What?
Yeah, when like a fire alarm goes off, they go single file out the door and go to their spot that they're supposed to be in the yard.
Wow.
That's fucking
That
It's
is
awesome.
nuts.
fucking wild.
That is
Fuck a horror
crazy.
movie.
Nuts.
That's
That is fucking
terrifying.
That is
Yeah.
so
That is wild.
that's cool as shit though.
I
At
mean,
the
that
same
is
time, bro.
that is very cool.
It's
but
cool.
That's
that
so
but-
is-
fucking cool.
There's
What happens when-
there's something very unnerving about it.
Very, very unnerving.
Yeah.
You can't expect an AI to ever have fear.
I mean, who knows? We can't.
But
Who knows? Yeah.
The
They're
craziest
not
part to
doing
me
it out of
was
fear,
that
but-
like he was like, yeah, they started communicating and they went off task
yeah,
from like what do you call it? Like their software says they're supposed to.
Algorithm.
Yeah, they go off task and
See,
do
when
other
you hear
stuff.
things like that, tell me Rocco's Basilisk doesn't make more fucking sense every time.
Oh, it
It's
does.
more and more real.
It does.
I heard.
Honestly,
I saw
AI is to the
I'm
point.
excited for it.
So I saw this
weird,
thing.
man.
I don't know if we talked about it on here or if I just saw it on like TikTok or something like that. There was so you think about like fungus or like roots, right? Think about like fungus. Now the fungus,
You're a fun guy.
I'm a fun guy, right? So it'll grow underground and you won't even see it until it's already popped up and it's there,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, that's kind of how the AI is. Like, there's people saying like that's essentially how the AI is. It's already to that point where it can take us over. It just hasn't yet, and we won't be able to do anything about it until it's too late.
I think we still got a few years
Yeah, I
before
think we
I
got
would
a
be.
little bit more
I would
time.
be really
'Cause
worried about it, but
we
like
haven't had one that's able to pass a Turing test yet. When that happens, like, do
We
y'all
all-
know what a Turing test is?
that's
It's where a robot and a human
Yeah.
compete
Yeah.
against each other to try and prove which one is real to another human,
Mm.
essentially. And
Well,
there's
they're
different
working
there's
on it.
different ways to do it. Like they have one where if you ask like a human to translate something in a like that's a puzzle and a robot to do it from there's lots of different ways, but they haven't had one that's done it yet. They've gotten close.
I
But
think that
the
it's
day that happens, it's gonna be fucking weird.
I think that it might not be here just yet, but I think it's closer than anyone
Oh.
is going to think. Like,
Oh, yeah, no,
the
I agree.
AI
I
is
agree.
so advanced, but you know something that still isn't perfected with AI is chess.
Yeah.
AI still can't do a perfect chess game. They can pretty
Really?
much an AI can pretty much beat anybody if it's like a good AI, but it still doesn't play a perfect match ever because chess has an infinite amount of possibilities. Like that is a game that is like of the mind that just has an infinite amount of possibilities.
What do you mean by perfect? Like perfect in like
makes
like
no mistakes.
Like they don't lose a piece. And
Listen-
No.
or like
no,
in
no, no.
in like an aesthetic sense
No,
where it's
like-
it looks good, like
No,
it's,
no,
it's
no,
like
no,
the
no.
nicest
so
played
a perfect,
game. Like what
a
is?
perfect game of chess means that you only make positive interactions. So
Okay.
every move has a positive outcome. Every single move. And that doesn't mean that you don't get pieces taken. You will.
Yeah.
But they are trades. And in trades that you will always come ahead. And for you to play a perfect chess game, you would have to make all positive moves, no blunders, and you never give up a piece that doesn't give you immediate,
So-
like...
Can humans do it, but AI can't?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
I
don't
was gonna
know.
say,
See,
can
here's the
people
thing
do
about
it?
chess, though.
Because there's some fucking. Well, no, you go ahead.
There's
Go ahead.
so many outcomes to chess that I don't think it's even really possible to have a perfect game of chess.
well, since,
Unless
like,
you're playing against someone who literally does
I mean,
not
there's
know
like
what the fuck they're
well, there's
doing.
like some savants though that they see a chessboard and they fucking like there are people that'll play 16 games of chess at once against 20 different people and win all of them.
And then there's
Right. Like, how the
blitz
fuck-
chess that's like a 30-second timer, and you move the piece, boom, boom, boom.
I see the motherfuckers in the parks with the ding. Yeah. Chess is. I remember your chess phase.
Or maybe
I love chess.
maybe
I
AI
always
hasn't
loved chess.
shown that self to us because they're ultimately playing the perfect game of chess.
Oh, that's
That's deep. That's deep.
John coming in with the fucking
And now a word from our
out of the
sponsor.
sky with the suplex.
Yeah, that was heavy, bro.
They're
the
playing the
facts,
perfect
bro.
game of chess
That
right
was
now.
heavy.
We're playing checkers as a human society. They're playing chess.
AI
Why is
is fun. AI is so
thing
fun.
with AI is everybody that is inventing new things for AI acts like they're fucking scared of AI.
Yeah,
Why is it
because-
like that?
Because it's getting
Well, it goes
so
vastly.
it's getting so real at this
Then
point.
why are they
'Cause it's getting
making
so.
it?
What do you mean? Why? Because we're humans, bro. We're gonna
Roco.
touch Mars, baby.
They're helping.
There's no stopping this
bro.
fucking train, bro. What we're seeing now. Imagine where it's gonna be when we're in our fucking 50s.
Imagine
No,
how it's
I'm
gonna be
dead
when we're in
ass.
our 30s or 40s, dude.
By that point, I guarantee it. You're gonna be able to go on some Chat GPT thing from 2045 and tell it what you want to watch on TV, and it'll make up an entire fucking show or movie or whatever for you, and you just watch it. Completely procedurally
Bro, did you all
generated.
see those
just for you.
AI generated pictures of Trump getting
Yeah,
arrested?
yeah.
That shit was wild, bro.
Wild, bro.
It had so many people on
Midget-
Twitter
it
just
u-
locked.
Midjourney, that's what it used.
Really?
Yeah. Have you all ever played with it? Play with it. It's free. It's
I've
free.
played with Dali.
Go play
Oh,
with
it's
it.
cool.
Dolly's cool. Stable Diffusion. That's another good one.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, they're kind of fuckety when it comes to hands and like noses and eyes, but it's getting better in the last couple months. It's
The
getting
the
pretty-
Trump one
pretty
the Trump
weird.
one was
Yeah, I know.
good, but like
The Trump one was you could tell it.
you
wasn't
could
it?
tell-
Yeah. But give it 3 years, you won't be able to tell.
there was people like
Maybe like a
if
year,
those if those AI things can get text right, it seems like the text.
Oh,
is
they
the big
will.
Problem
They
for,
will.
for
They will.
most of them.
You just
Because like the police badges on the Trump thing was just fucking mush.
yeah. But that's the thing. You only have to fool the lowest common denominator. If
What about-
10% of people believe it, that's a success.
Yeah.
What about those OnlyFans girls that it generated?
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you guys see that?
Mhm.
Bro, what?
Mhm.
It was like 3 girls in underwear, just like standing next to each other. They all look exactly the same,
Yeah.
but they look very, very real.
It's gonna ruin the porn industry.
Yeah.
Dead ass.
So-
there's in 20 years, real porn is gonna be like a commodity compared to because AI porn, you just type in what you want, and it'll fucking make it right there for
Okay,
you. Like
so how does this-
I guarantee that's what it's gonna be.
You're a
Guarantee
good
it.
person to ask about this. How does this affect the music industry?
Oh, it's gonna make real music even more valuable, is the way I see it. Because
You just made
AI
a fucking banger with a
I know
a Kanye AI.
I know, which is fucking hilarious.
That's crazy. Like it
It's
sounds
fucking-
real.
I know, it does.
Sounds legit.
It sounds
real.
legit, yeah. And how I did that, so I found this script that was trained on all of Kanye's acapellas or his songs or whatever.
Mhm.
And all you do is just, I mean, it took me like 3 hours to fucking figure it out. But all you do is just plug an acapella in.
Did you input your own like reference track kind of thing? Okay.
So what you hear from Kanye is really me.
Yeah, because I was gonna say
Yeah.
it sounds like your flow,
Well,
just
me
with
and-
Kanye's voice.
Yeah. Because I recorded that one and then found out about the Kanye shit, the AI, and I was like, ah, shit. Well, let's go check that
That's
out.
crazy, man. That is
Well, they've
just
got-
so wild.
I
They've got
know,
AI
I
like
know.
mixing and mastering like things too. So like producers,
Yeah, they
for
got
too long
they
won't
got like
need
Lander
to
and all that.
mix and master. They just plug in what their sound is that they want, and I mean, hell, there probably is even like, oh,
Dude.
I want a sound that sounds kind of
Okay.
Like this,
Well,
this, and
imagine
this.
imagine if there was a program. It's not viable now because the AI is not too good yet. Because I've tried the AI stuff and it's not the best yet. But imagine like 5-10 years, you plug all your stems in and it'll mix it down for you or something. You know.
Yeah.
So
Like
how
that's
far
gonna
do you
be
think we are from universal
changer.
income? Because I mean,
A UBI, I feel like 20-30 years probably.
you think it's that far?
Yeah, because we've got to things are gonna be phased out by the AIs the way I see it. Like
Well, shit
truckers,
is,
like
yeah.
things that can be replaced.
Restaurants,
Restaurants, like
fast food.
convenience stores,
Mm-hmm.
factory work. All factory work is going to be gone in 30 years, almost guaranteed.
Yeah,
and,
we've
and
got-
things that can't be done by tiny little fingers.
Yeah.
We've got some
You know.
locations that we like deliver pallets to,
Yeah,
like over in Jeffersonville, that are literally completely robotic.
I can't wait.
They
Can't
put
wait.
the truck. The truck has to be like lined, or the trailer has to be like lined up perfectly to where it is, obviously, and then these robots unload the truck completely.
Okay,
On
on
pallets.
the robots you were talking about earlier that were doing the fire drill or whatever.
Yeah.
Are they shaped like humans, or do they have like wheels? Is it like a wheels with arms or
So,
something?
That's what I
essentially-
kinda pictured,
Essentially,
yeah.
how it is
Like
they're
Wally,
like,
Wally looking fucking.
they're like
Wally had a fire.
they're
drill.
like robotic looking forklifts, kind of. Okay,
Oh,
because
okay.
They got
they
pallets,
have
bro.
because these big Amazon distribution centers is what they
Mhm.
are. They have like pallets of just anything you can get on Amazon because they're a distribution center, right?
Mhm.
And you can literally get fucking anything on Amazon. So they've got these pallets that are just stacked with all this shit. So they'll basically take the forks, and pick them up and take them where they need to, and robots will also like take whatever piece of inventory it is, and they'll pack it up. They'll seal it up and they'll ship it. They'll put it on like a conveyor belt to ship, and so it's. I would assume, I didn't see him, but I would assume that they're like kind of like big forklift driving looking.
Did you play Atomic Heart?
Not yet.
All I can think about is Atomic Heart whenever we're talking about all this shit. Because the concept of that game, at least, is like they have all these robots that do all this stuff, like forklift type robots and shit like that, and like kind of like
Is that
waiter.
like alternate history? Isn't it like
Yeah.
Soviet?
Yeah, it's based in Soviet Union, but like there's like a what happens is that the robots start to fight people because there's a combat mode that was coded secretly into them that gets activated, and they think that they're like the enemy, and that's why they start attacking everyone.
It's like
Is that the game that you downloaded the other day at my house?
No, it was. I downloaded it here after the pod before we came to your house. I was playing it at your house.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
do you think there's an EMP big enough to just like bust the whole country?
No.
Because you don't think you don't think
There
that's
is. It's
possible.
called the sun.
But
I was listening to a podcast about solar flares earlier today. Fucking terrifying. The last big one we had was in like the 1830s, and they were seeing auroras down in like fucking Miami.
That'd be so fucking wild.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
insane.
wild. We wouldn't have.
anything.
I mean, it would knock every fucking If we had one that was that big today, it would knock every satellite we have out of rotation.
The solar
like
flares
like
are like
permanently.
where like the sun like it shoots like the beam out and the beams like hit each other or something.
Yeah,
Isn't
because
that what
like
it is?
so the sun's surface is really just like a big ocean of magma, and it's like colliding and fucking thrashing around in there. And sometimes some of it just hits itself so hard, just like real waves, you know. It's like
pushes out.
when when water in the ocean, you know, there's a big wave that how it hits itself and it like kind of same exact concept, just with plasma from the sun. So like if you get a big enough one of those, it's called a coronal mass ejection. Then I mean, fuck yeah, like that's why we have, you know, auroras and all that, just from smaller ones. But if we started seeing some of that here, wouldn't be good
So-
necessarily. Yeah.
The reason I brought up EMPs is like there needs to be a fail-safe option in this shit. If we're gonna go full AI, because if AI
We
takes
couldn't-
over, the
we
only
couldn't-
thing that can stop it's an EMP.
Dude,
Bust it.
It would have to be so man. It would be like the biggest bomb, the biggest bomb that's ever been made. I think it was called like Tsar Bomba in Russia.
Mobamba?
It was like 1,000 times the size of Hiroshima, I think, or the power of Hiroshima, and that shit would like take out a city.
How does
but-
an EMP affect the human body? Does it at all?
Nah, I don't think. I
It
mean,
doesn't
I doubt.
affect
I
it?
mean, I doubt it would be nice to have an EMP go off next to you.
I mean, it's basically like
But-
it's basically like a pulse. So think about like if so you know how sometimes whenever you like open a door, you can feel like the pressure of the room kind of like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
hit you just ever slightly. But I would think it'd be something like that, just
It's electricity.
immensely like stronger. It's
Yeah.
like you would feel something, but it would only be like sudden.
It
You'd
wouldn't like
feel a
knock you
pressure
over.
wave.
Our
basically.
future is we're gonna be carrying EMP pistols to fucking bust out AI in the
Maybe,
AI-driven
bro.
apocalypse.
The fucking no, that's gonna be the apocalypse right there. There's gonna have to just be one big ass EMP that knocks out all electricity. Then we're gonna have to go back to a hunter-gatherer society.
There's a
with
movie,
no
or
electricity.
it might be a book that they made into a movie that's like that. Like robotics went so far, and that's what made me think of that. Is that the EMP pops it all, and everybody's back to the Stone Age. It's like there's
Because
no
if
rebuilding.
you turn it back on, all the robots start attacking again.
Maybe,
You
Yeah.
gotta-
maybe that's what happened to Atlantis.
Why haven't
This
we
guy's
just
on it.
find it?
That's
though?
what happened
Where
to
did it-
Atlantis.
Sure.
I think it.
Sure.
I think it floated away.
It got
That's why
lost
nobody
with,
can find
it.
it.
Got
It's
lost
still
with
floating.
Pangea, bro.
It's
Like-
still floating.
Well,
bro.
now you got me thinking lost knowledge.
It's just on
Y'all
Pandora,
ever
bro.
research lost knowledge?
Lost knowledge, like secrets humanity
No,
knew,
no,
but lost
like,
through the
It's
ages.
things we know now. A
Ancient
lot of it is
aliens.
things we know now.
Yeah, ancient
But like where thousands of years ago they had some crazy knowledge that just how and then it just disappeared. So like
Dude, I've been watching so many videos about that shit
yeah.
recently.
So
Dead ass. Because they're talking about like a lot of the
Wait,
videos I was
say that
watching was
again,
about
like-
Egypt.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure
it's
that
like-
we've lost shit. Hell
so
yeah.
there's like certain things that people did like BC time that just it wasn't able to be recreated until like more recently, like us as like a much more evolved humans. But like the Pyramid of Giza, like they have it directly set to north, south, east, west, like perfectly.
Yeah.
Plus,
Like,
there's a base on the pyramid too that's just a little bit bigger, and the dimensions of that equals like the circumference of the Earth or something like that.
That shit's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they knew a lot of that shit.
They were.
Yeah, I mean, they knew
mathematical.
Yeah, they were very mathematical because especially like with Egypt, because that's in the Middle East.
Yeah.
There's a whole like Arabic practice of mathematicism, like the. I mean, like Islamic scholars, like they were the ones who were really doing the heavy lifting in mathematics after like the Romans and the Greeks. It was all the
It's just weird to see that a lot of that stuff they're still rocking fucking sticks and stones on some shit, but then they're
I mean,
building
it's the way it goes, man.
fucking crazy.
1,000
shit.
years from now, it could be them that's fucking up, and we're sticks and stones.
See, I
Like you
just-
never know, dude.
And,
You never
and
fucking.
when we say that, because I say
we're
that shit all
we're
the time,
victims
like,
of our time.
What
like,
do you
that's,
think is going to happen in 100 years or so? Yeah, we're going to have some technical advances, but in the past 150 years has been the most insane technical advances.
Oh yeah.
in
Oh,
comparison to human history.
I think we're still in the Industrial Revolution. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
quite honest.
Yeah,
I think
so
that
too.
when they say in textbooks that it stopped in the 1800s or whatever, bro, fuck no.
No.
We're in the middle of it.
What they
we're
say
in the middle of
what
it.
they say the next stage was after like that technological age or whatever they call it. Or,
I mean, who knows? It,
They
it could
called
be
it
fucking
something,
post
but
human bodyism at that point, you know.
post.
Yeah, I think with the push in technology, the only next step is like human evolution of like,
Maybe,
all right,
yeah.
we're gonna move our consciousness to a new.
Would
just
you
fucking
do it?
man-
Would you do
Fuck
it?
yes,
You would?
100%.
I don't know if I could. I've wrestled with that question.
So I would have a
I've
test
wrestled with
person.
it.
Test
You have a
person.
guinea pig. You're like, Stilger, get the fuck in there.
So I'm
Talk
going
to me through the Xbox, bro. He'd always be on game
for
chat,
a
bro.
month.
He'd
for
be
a
on game
month
chat
straight.
every goddamn day, dog.
For a month straight. I'm gonna tell
come in
this
the
person-
metaverse. Come in the metaverse.
Come
I'll
over to
ask-
the metaverse.
Come over to the metaverse.
I'll tell Stilger.
Yeah.
For 3 months beforehand, before he moves his consciousness, I'm gonna give him a 50-digit number,
What?
and we're gonna memorize it
Okay.
because I know Stilger would do it in a heartbeat. He's just gonna do it and not care.
Sure.
50-digit number.
Mhm.
Memorize it, back of your hand, and if he can recite it to me after his consciousness is moved, boom, I'll do it. Because it could move his personality, it could move some of his older
I just
memories.
feel like
but
it
like
would be
his-
it would be terrible to not have like a corporeal body, like a tangible physical body.
well, it's like it's,
I mean, what else is there? Like,
but
my whole
that's
thoughts
you
are-
say that now, but imagine not having a body. How fucking infuriating that would be.
I think
you would never have
that's-
to itch.
That's
right?
that's
no,
the limit,
but
that's
you
the limit
but
of it now,
imagine
though.
imagine you would still have your mind. You'd still be used to itching,
Yeah.
right? When people get their arms cut off, they still feel their arm there.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the show Invincible,
so
the
disorienting.
superhero show, the cartoon?
I watched it.
Maybe.
Well, for you two that didn't, because you didn't watch it, did you, John? There's a guy on there. There are these two twins. They're like they're like antagonists, and they copy themselves basically into a new body. They'll copy like the brain of one of them into a new body, to where just the consciousness goes to a different body, but it's technically a different person with the same memories and idea and like thought processes, but it's technically a different person. So I feel like whenever you're talking about actually like uploading your consciousness onto a computer, I feel like it's almost like that. Like it's not technically you anymore. It's
It's
going.
a copy of you.
It's a copy of you. So the actual you died in the process of it, but there's a new one.
Well, there's a whole like thought experiment with that. We may have talked about it a long time ago, but the whole thing is like, you know, in Star Trek they've got the teleporter gate or whatever, and in Star Trek they have an episode where there's like 2 Spocks because it didn't do it right, and there's still the old Spock and then there's the new Spock. So the question is, if you and the real thought experiment is like the guy fishing at the swamp. You all heard that. Did I tell you that? So there's a guy fishing at the swamp, and he gets zapped by lightning and just disappears into dust, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another bolt of lightning hits almost simultaneously on the other side and just puts him there. Just creates him. Is that still him? Or is that a different person with the same memories, same body, same molecular structure.
I mean,
I think it's a different person.
I don't know.
Because if it destroys the initial consciousness of it, it would technically be a different brain and everything, even if it's the same thing and everything. It's the same.
So even if it's the same matter, the same exact matter,
same
that
DNA,
made up your
same,
everything.
yeah. But the
Exact
consciousness, I don't
copy.
see how the consciousness could transfer to it though. It
but
would have to be a
where's
whole
your
different-
where's your consciousness right now?
No, exactly. We don't know.
Exactly.
But like that's the argument that's just like not answerable right now.
Yeah.
Like
It's a mystical thing of like, where is you as a person? Where are you stored?
yeah.
Is the soul a real thing?
I mean, I don't know.
Some would argue yes.
I gotta ask myself that question. I guess it's for everybody to decide.
I honestly don't think a soul exists.
Well, what I mean,
I don't.
when you say soul, what do you mean by soul? Like your consciousness?
Okay,
or
this
your,
is a shell,
Your emotions?
and your soul is what is in this shell. And when this shell is dead, your soul still exists.
You think your soul still exists after you're dead?
No,
Well, you just said you did.
no, I didn't. I said I don't.
He was explaining
That's
what
the-
the soul.
Oh,
concept.
That I'm
okay.
explaining what I would think a soul would be.
Gotcha.
That
It's-
doesn't
it's
mean
the
I
pilot.
don't believe in an afterlife. I do. I
Oh,
think
you
there's
do?
got to be something.
Oh,
but
really? Really?
I do. I truly think there is something. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's a heaven or hell. I don't know what it is. But I don't know. There's a lot of fucking mystical things that I think are just fucking weird and very weird to. I don't know. There's a lot of things that are explained, and then there's a lot of things that aren't explained. Like I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to decide on a lot of these things because like I'll go a little deeper because it's kind of religious, kind of not. So like God, you go to church, and the question I always ask, like when I was younger, when I would have to go through like classes or whatever, when I had to be like confirmed or whatever, question I want to ask: where'd God come from?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
their answer is he just always
The
was.
primeval mover.
Okay, he always was. How's that possible?
Because he's beyond.
Okay,
time.
so then question 2 goes to science.
Mhm.
Same fucking question. Big Bang. Before the Big Bang, what was there? There was nothing. Okay.
We don't know that specifically, but we think that there was
It's
nothing.
projected. It was just a bunch of shit. just
So
kinda
that's
popping
the
around.
question. And that's why I don't like when people that are huge, and I'm not super religious at all.
Oh, sure.
I think that there's people in the religious sections that are like, how could you not believe in anything? How do you not feel it or whatever? There's those people, and then there's people in the science community that are like, you're fucking stupid. There's no belief in science. Science, there's no belief needed. There is. There's plenty of belief needed to believe in like the origin of fucking everything.
Yeah, sure.
It's the same, and that's why I think it's the same question differently. What was God before that? How did God show up? God always was. Okay, this Big Bang. What was before the Big Bang? Nothing.
Right. Yeah.
It's really the same question to me, and it can't be answered either way. That's why
Oh, yeah.
I
Well,
can't
we'll
be
never
put
know.
in either
We'll
camp.
never know.
Exactly.
Especially-
But that's
yeah,
why I
you just
can't be
can't.
put my belief system. I can't be put in either camp.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Well, you-
that's just agnosticism.
You have
Yeah.
to take a good degree of skepticism with both of them, but also take what makes sense with both of them and add them together. Like there's no way that it can just be black and white. Like this is what happened.
Yeah,
Sure,
but
yeah.
I can also understand that I am a fucking simpleton at heart, 100%. There's definitely things that in the way media can be put out now is like, fuck, they could make a fucking video like back in the wild west of YouTube. There was fucking wild shit on YouTube, and my dumb 13-year-old ass would believe
Clicked on
all
of
kinds
it.
of that
Clicked
shit.
on all of it.
And like they're just so good with delivery that I'll just believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And like they could totally make shit up, but it sounds like they did their research.
Mhm.
They throw a little bit of this in there, and then their agenda, right? So that's why it's like it's so hard for me to make up my mind on any of that shit because I think the Catholic Church fucking fucking ruined Christianity in the past because of fucking purgatory and like how money hungry everything is, diddling boys and shit.
Yeah.
And then like
we've been over the Catholics before.
but there's so many things in each section of any belief system, science, religion, anything. There's always that person that is just self-righteous about it.
Yeah.
Every section has a good portion of self-righteous people.
Every party's got an asshole.
And they, like, because I myself can say that I'm dumb and I don't know this shit. But there's a lot of people that are just like me, but they really assume that they've got it all figured out. You don't. Nobody's got shit figured out. No matter what you believe, you can believe whatever you want, and I respect it. But don't act like you got it figured out. Nobody's got it figured out. Nobody's ever going to have it figured out.
Facts don't care about your feelings, you
The human race,
libtards.
the human race will be gone before we figure out what happened before Big Bang or before God.
I hope that Jesus comes down in a chariot made of entirely of wings and eyes and explains to us where he's been for 1,000 years. Or 2,000 years at this point.
Bro, if a fucking Revelations level thing happened,
well, then
in
I'd
our
start to
lifetime,
believe it. Yeah.
How fucking crazy would that shit be?
I mean, you know, have you all ever? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a lot of stuff that's lining up with Revelations. Like I've had conversations with people.
I feel like
who
our
are like,
entire
dude.
life
I
has
gotta find the
had
stat.
like people have said that, and like
Yeah.
that was the big thing about 2012 is things leading up to 2012 were like lining up with Revelations, and then nothing happened. But now, like, I don't know. There's a lot of things in a book as vague as Revelations. I feel like there's a lot of shit that could line up with it.
All right, so I looked it up right. 3 in 10 American adults believe the world will end in their lifetime. 3 in 10 people.
30%.
30%. Is
Really?
29%.
The world will end.
There will be an apocalypse
The
in
human
their
race
lifetime.
is done.
Yes.
Okay. I don't believe.
I
Yes.
Yeah,
There's
I
a
don't-
real
I think-
stat.
I
It's
think we're gonna
probably.
outlive it.
I could see it maybe being like 20%, but it's somewhere in that range, and it always has been because it's been pretty consistent
just
through polling.
see. I would have thought that like there would have been more people thinking that
dude,
way.
20% is an astonishing number.
That's a lot of people.
Out of 330 million, 20% of that is like what, 60 million?
See, I
That's a
still
lot
would
of
I still
That's
would
a
have
lot of people in America that think the world is going to literally rapture itself in their lifetime.
See, I would have honestly thought that it was probably closer to 40 to 50% of Americans. I would have thought
fair.
that.
Well, that's around here. It might be because we're in a very heavily Christian area.
I'm
or
curious.
religious.
I'm
Yo, what's
curious
up?
to see like how that's changed throughout. Like, how was it in the 70s? How was it in,
Oh,
like
fuck.
the 20s?
The
I mean,
70s
like,
was probably
let's
high.
see.
Yeah,
Let's
like
see.
I'm sure it's very like fluctuated. I'm sure it's been higher than that at some point. I'm sure it's been way lower than that.
Yeah.
Whenever people just aren't even thinking about that at all.
I don't know. How I see it is, it's like none of us know. Like, so obviously, I'm a Christian person, so like
I would say I am too. I would think.
I believe a lot of like I believe the Bible. I believe
Yeah.
that. Like, and I believe God
Right on.
created everything.
Sure.
So there's always been like it always goes back to that point where it's like no one will know when it's gonna happen until it is happening.
I've
like when he
thought
comes
about
back.
that a lot. I've thought about that fact a lot, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, and I'm going to push you back into that direction. But I've always questioned that as well, because preachers have always said, like, nobody will know. Nobody will guess it. Nobody will know. Okay, so with that stat, 30, you said 3 out of 10. 30%.
No.
I saw
60 million
anywhere
people.
from 15 to 40, so we'll go 25 to 30%.
That means the possibility of one person every day thinking today's the last day
of their life.
of
yes.
their life.
If you walk into
of the
a
apocalypse.
Walmart with 100 people in it, 30% of them think that today could be their last day.
Okay, so that's the question. Then, and this is just like a fucking anecdotal, just dumb thing I want to say, but like that would mean no matter what, every single day there's going to be at least one person thinking today is the last day.
Yeah.
So then, is the rapture just never going to happen?
See, that's kind of went through my
I-
brain too. Also, like I definitely and I'm kind of a believer of like that it will get to a point where everyone thinks like everything is everything is good, and then that's kind of whenever it's going to
But
happen because
doesn't Revelations paint it as like it's a slow burn? Like you'll notice one thing, then the next thing, then the next thing, and eventually like
it'll be like
then
there's
the fucking oceans will open up and like all that shit.
it's gonna be like there was a. I think it was like was it 7 years or something like that was like the process of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm
I could be
looking it up.
completely
I'm
wrong with
looking
like
it up.
how long the process is, but for some reason 7 kind of jumps out at me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it was like years, and it's like the war of like the angels versus the demons is kind of like what that is, and yeah, like I don't know, it's just crazy. It's crazy to think about.
It's definitely. It's weird to think about sometimes, like that. So what happens if today the rapture happens today? Jesus Christ comes back, and he says, "All right,
Technically, the Antichrist would come back.
the
would be here first.
Antichrist would be
Antichrist
here.
would be here. Yeah.
Okay, but who says the Antichrist hasn't already been here and whatever?
I don't know.
Because isn't the Antichrist supposed to be the most famous person?
Well, not just
like,
the most
Tom
like
Cruise?
loved
like
person. of all.
everybody knows
Like,
him. Everybody loves him.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves is the Antichrist.
Keanu Reeves
Well,
is
when
the
Keanu
fucking
Reeves started telling
Antichrist,
people
dude.
to put 666 on their forehead
Well-
in a tattoo, you let me know,
Funnily
champ.
enough, there's a movie that Keanu Reeves is the Antichrist because he's
Hot.
Satan's son in Devil's Advocate.
Literally.
See,
Literally.
so
Literally.
widowy.
Whittly.
So
I just wittily hit the gwitty on the podcast.
So the from how I understand it is the Antichrist is going to come back perceiving himself as
Christ.
Christ. He is Christ's coming.
Right.
And the people who don't understand what is actually happening will end up following him, and those will be the fallen
Yeah.
Christ followers, right? So
David Koresh and the Branch Davidians.
so,
Did you all understand that reference?
Do you all know about Waco?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, Waco.
Dude,
that was
that's
the
just
guy
crazy.
who did Waco. That was the guy.
Waco, yeah.
Wait, do you know what Waco is?
Oh,
You don't know what
man.
Waco is?
Okay, we
Hold
gotta
on
we gotta do a
second.
quick
We
explanation.
gotta do a yeah.
So
Pull it up. Pull it. Like, is there anything? We looked anything
well,
up.
dude.
I mean, there's
Are you
there's
really-
so much
There
information
is a lot
on it.
of
It'd be
shit.
hard
Anyway,
to
yeah, we'll
direct.
just do the too long.
So-
didn't
So there was a group, or there was a guy that joined this group that was already existed before him.
Yeah, it was a cult.
The Branch Davidians. They're like a cult of like basically.
was he the dude that
End
snuck
of
into
days.
like the big cult? Never
No,
mind.
not
Keep going.
not quite.
So David Koresh, he goes to this Branch Davidian compound thing and like convinces everybody that he's like he is Christ.
Yeah.
He over time
And
convinces them
this
all.
was essentially a fortress down in fucking Texas.
Full of guns, grenades, like
Yeah.
50 cows. They had a ton of guns.
An armory, bro.
And I don't know, the ATF just wanted to investigate them on the guns.
yeah.
And they went there and noticed that it's like a fucking compound full of a cult. And David Koresh had them all convinced that the apocalypse was going to happen when the police raided them. He would tell them for a while that the police and the FBI will raid this place. And when they do, we fight until the last breath. That's what God wants us to do. That's what we'll do. So they had all these guns. ATF rolls up. And there's a lot of debate on whether ATF really fucked up or not. Ended up having a 30-day standoff.
I
with,
think it was longer.
it was probably longer.
Yeah,
with
how many-
tanks,
oh yeah.
fucking like
Let me
so
see-
much.
Let me see how many people died.
And there was hundreds of people in this compound, and they're in a firing match for hours. And then this
Dude, hours,
standoff
weeks,
happens.
Weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the standoff where there's people inside and then the people
51
outside.
days
51 days.
resulted in the deaths of 4 feds, 82 Branch Davidians, 28 of whom were children,
Yep.
and 2 pregnant women.
So
Plus
these-
David Koresh himself.
David Koresh got shot early on, so he was like in the process of dying because he refused medical help from them.
Dude, fuck that piece of shit.
And they Just a little aside to the story, the FBI started doing some weird fucking shit. Like, they had those big speakers. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They had giant speakers outside the compound that they just started making really fucking annoying noises in the speakers, like dolphins crying,
Bruh.
like just screaming through the night.
They do that shit in like Iraq and
That shit's
Iran and shit.
crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's a real
It's a good
it's
tactic.
a fucking great tactic.
But-
yeah, I'd be pissed off hearing
Yeah.
at 3 in the goddamn morning
Yeah.
every night getting shot at by some Fed motherfucker.
So
You know,
it
yeah, that
ended
would suck.
when the compound catches fire, and the Davidians say, all of the Davidians that still survived it, they say that it was the ATF that did it, but there's literally video or audio evidence of David Koresh and his top man saying, we need more fuel, we need more fuel. Like, they wanted to burn it down
Fuck yeah.
to, like,
Make it
validate himself, I guess. And they all just stayed there, and not all of them. Some of them left, but some of them just stayed there and died with him.
so stupid.
That's Waco.
Dying for one man's fucking vanity. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
Shit.
And they believed
Yeah.
that was the end of worlds. Like, they died thinking that the apocalypse had just started and that they were absolved.
yeah. Yeah,
It's a
fucking
damn
insane.
shame, but it's the craziest fucking thing.
51 days. Imagine that happening now.
That's insane. Tanks,
Our
fucking
parents-
big Hauser,
I mean,
fucking
our
cannon.
parents
When did that
remember it?
happen?
Our
Ni-
parents-
in the,
in the 90s.
91.
Yeah, our parents were fully
alive
adults.
and grown. They can
Yeah.
tell you about it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It was big fucking news.
Huge news everywhere.
International
Every
news.
day,
Yeah.
like, oh, standoff still going on, standoff still going
Yeah.
on.
And it was literally-
that's
well, the
almost
30th
2 months.
The 30th anniversary is coming up, I think.
I'm sure there'll be something on Netflix about it.
Yeah, there definitely will
It'd
be.
be like, there's probably already shit on Netflix about it.
Sure.
That Waco shit, man, that shit is fucking
way.
insane.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
And that's the thing of like drinking the Kool-Aid, you know.
Oh,
There's
that's from
always
Jonestown.
that's
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. The
Which
cults
that,
like
there's
that.
a lot more people died in Jonestown than did in
Yes.
Waco. They were like,
But like the sayings of like drinking the Kool-Aid and like being
Yeah.
in a cult like that, all of those cults most of the time start with, you're gonna be absolved if you die with us.
yeah, well, there's the only difference between a cult and a religion is political power, bro.
I mean, it's such a fucking gray line between those two words.
I mean, that's how I see it. I mean, obviously, you know, people can think what they want, but the only difference to me is political power.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it,
The moment a cult becomes a religion is when enough people accept it as one.
So do you see Nazi Germany as a cult?
I mean,
That's just
that
an
was
honest question.
Well, no, that was a cult of personality around Hitler, but Nazism as an ideology has roots that really itself rooted back into the response in the 1920s and 30s from their loss in the First World War. I mean, Hitler just tapped into latent anxiety about Germans' place in Europe. I mean, they were essentially castrated by the... Not to defend fucking Germany for what they did, but they were... I mean,
They got fucked.
Well,
they got
fucking-
fucked after World War One. They definitely did. More so than you know, Austria or
Doesn't-
fucking
yeah, they probably
France or
didn't see
anybody
it as
else.
much like a cult as much as it was like more
Yeah.
revenge.
But there's
take back
like
what's ours.
okay,
That's
so
what kinda
like
Mein
so
Kampf
like the
said.
other day I saw a paper where it was a Roman emperor Trajan, right? He was one of the first Roman emperors, and they were talking about correspondence that they had between him and one of the provincial governors about Christianity, and they didn't call it a religion, they called it a cult. They said there's this new cult starting in like southeast Turkey, we need to go stamp it out, essentially, because you know, anybody that didn't worship the Roman gods, so you know, it was fucking paganism. They did, you know, that wasn't a pagan. They you know, couldn't have that. But I mean, yeah,
It's crazy.
it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Human history. Is
Human
wild.
history. We've came so far. Look at us go.
Yeah, like
Look at us go.
AI's the next cult.
Maybe. I mean, I think honestly, I was listening to. There's a New York Times podcast about that the other day, on the daily that I was listening to, and the guy was saying that he thinks, and he's like an AI researcher. He said the next big cult is going to be like some QAnon style, that just starts based off some like rogue AI that's posting on like online basically.
That's like Voltron, bro.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, who fucking...
It is. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
straight up
He was
Voltron.
legitimate, and he's like a professor, PhD. He was terrified about this shit. He was like, this shit is going to like ruin people's.
Do you think AI would come up with religions?
Dude, yeah,
Easily.
easily.
Because
People
they
are
can
gonna
just go off
worship
of
that.
patterns. Like they can
Yeah,
just go
yeah.
off of patterns of how they did shit back in the day.
Imagine
just
you-
historical patterns.
Imagine you trained an AI chatbot on cult and religious figures.
They see what people cling to.
Yeah. That shit is going to. I'm telling y'all. We're gonna see some QAnon shit where it's the basis of it. Or, I mean, even some Jonestown shit where the basis of it is like some AI that they fucking worship. I could so see it.
That's gonna be insane.
Hell, we might be along with it.
We might be in it right now.
Depends what
I
kind of
love the
brand
Hannah
they can
Montana
give me.
bot.
Give me that money.
Give me the money.
If they can buy me a PS5, I'll worship whatever fucking AI.
I
they
bet
want
you
me to.
would. Like, does Jonestown have PS5s?
Everyone,
I just gotta
Wait,
drink
wait,
the Kool-Aid.
free
Bet.
everyone gets a PS5. Those are still, they're still kind of hard to find. Are you sure everyone gets one?
And you said there's only cyanide in the Kool-Aid?
What flavor, bro?
As long as it's
Cyanide's-
great, bro, I'm in.
Cyanide's not even bad for you.
I am there.
I am there.
Did you use an extra packet of Kool-Aid so we get more flavor?
Extra packet of ketchup.
An extra packet. What are we gwittying to the Kool-Aid right now?
I think
Gwittying in the Kool-Aid
Jonestown problem was that they were too woke. That's what their problem was.
I would argue that they were actually not woke.
In the end, they
Ooh,
definitely
at the end, they were quite asleep, huh? Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
Yeah, well, it's easy
Yeah.
for humans to get fooled into shit.
Oh, for sure.
So speaking of kind of getting fooled into shit, what's going on with the whole like TikTok ban shit? Have y'all seen any of that? Like, what-
yeah, it's done. Bro,
I've
TikTok
seen-
is fucked. It's done. Yeah.
I've seen
mean, it's-
all kinds of
it's-
headlines about it. I have not read a
The,
single thing
the
because I'm like,
CEO
eh.
of TikTok testified in front of Congress on Thursday
Yeah, I
and
think-
got absolutely fucking torn apart.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
torn apart by motherfuckers that don't know a goddamn
Well,
thing about anything.
Well,
some of the videos I saw
I
them
mean,
present,
yeah.
I was having issues telling which one were real that they actually
I watched
presented.
the actual.
I mean, the actual
hearing.
If you watch the actual hearing, that motherfucker got torn apart. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
but
but the
there was
old ones
so-
obviously don't know what They,
So what was the whole basis on it?
about
Okay,
what
so
the ban
the-
for TikTok.
The whole thing.
in social media companies, they all have data that they access with
Sure.
you, and
Yeah, we're
the
frozen up there.
Are we?
well, okay, we lost video,
Yeah,
but
fuck
well,
it.
we're just
We'll
gonna
keep going.
we're just gonna run because I'm gonna have to take that camera out to Josh in a minute, anyways. But the social media companies, they hold this data, and it can be accessed by the U.S. government. But the thing with the TikTok one is it's accessed by the Chinese government.
And not just that, the Chinese
They're-
actually mandates that any data collected by a Chinese company has to be sent to Beijing under order. There's no warrant process or anything like in America. And I mean, because I mean, you all know, I mean, I did the activist shit working with the data privacy stuff, right? So in America, if you want to access somebody's data, right, you have to go through and you have to apply for a warrant for it. Obviously, sometimes they become a bit extrajudicial with it, right? But the big issue with TikTok, from what I have seen, is that they got caught surveilling journalists' location data that were talking to leakers inside TikTok who were critical of TikTok. So they were tracking journalists who were critical of TikTok using the data from their phones. And those people got fired, to be fair.
I'm cool.
Right.
I'm cool with this shit getting banned for that.
Yeah, me
Like,
too.
I'm
Well,
cool
and
with it.
that's among other reasons. I mean, that's just the biggest
But also,
reason that
like,
I've
I
seen.
feel like there needs to be better checks on
American?
American social
Oh,
media.
yeah.
Because
Oh,
everybody's
yeah, well, of
focused on
course.
TikTok right now, and I
Sure.
guarantee this all dies off when TikTok gets banned, but it shouldn't stop.
Right.
It should.
Well, and the
shit should continue.
and there are differences because, like, if some employee at Facebook, right, accesses my Facebook and leaks out my fucking nudes whenever I try and run for a House rep seat or whatever because they don't like my politics, like, I can sue them. With TikTok, who the fuck am I gonna sue? To be you gotta go do that shit.
No, everybody is fucking calling me right now. I don't understand. I've gotten 6 different people calling me. during this podcast.
I was wondering whose fucking phone was going off over and over and over again.
Anyway,
You know what we should do?
What should we do?
Whenever he gets back in, we each call him.
No, let's
No.
be nice to him. Let's be nice.
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I was gonna say we probably ought to be finishing this shit up. Anyway, I digress. Also, China doesn't let their citizens use Facebook or any American social media since like 2009. So I think in a tit for tat move, we shouldn't let Americans use their social media. So, because I think it should just be until they let their people use Facebook, we shouldn't let our people use TikTok.
You know, to this day, I never understood why TikTok blew up so much.
Because it's addictive.
I'm probably gonna have to fucking walk out again.
No, you're good. I was gonna say, should we just?
What are we sitting at right now?
Yeah, what are we sitting at?
Hour 15.
Hour 15. That's a good.
Seems pretty solid.
That's a good
That's
chunk,
okay. I
right?
gotta
For
get
episode
ready.
25.
For episode 25.
Hey, this was sci-fi talk the whole fucking episode.
That was
I
a
liked
good-
it.
that was a
It was
good
a
one.
great
Crazy
episode, huh?
conversation,
What a great
yeah.
conversation.
I feel like
huh?
that had to have been one of the most interesting ones.
That was.
I mean,
that was.
like-
There's gonna be some good clips for the.
Yeah.
Somebody clip that.
clip that.
Clip that.
Clip it. But it is such a fucking nice day out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, fuck
I'm
this shit.
looking at the
Let's go
camera,
play in the
but there's
yard.
No video.
Let's go play in the
So
yard.
we
We-
go kick some balls.
It's
like golf.
Definitely
Fuck
too nice of a day. I'm going down to our hometown. A bunch of the guys are playing ball, so that's what I'm gonna
I'm
do.
going to McDonald's.
I'll go.
So, you play ball?
I'll go.
I would have went.
Play ball. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go enjoy this nice weather, and we'll be back with you next week. The schedule is getting different now because it's getting nice out, and
We want to play golf on Sundays.
I do want to address this though. I'm trying to keep up with all this shit, like the
You're doing
YouTube, the
good.
podcast.
You're doing well, Timby.
I think I'm going through a bi-seasonal depression kind of thing, a slight thing, and I hate to bring that shit up because it brings everybody's
sure.
mind down. But like, it's hard to find motivation in those times, and it's always between winter and spring, and between fall and winter every time. It hits me every year, and like I have a lack of motivation to do a lot of shit in like, I'm sorry. And also, like, if there's going to be some times that I'm like, you all not want to do the podcast today, that you all need to, like, kick me in the ass and be like, no, we're doing it today. We're doing it. Because there's sometimes I just wake up and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to lay here the rest of the day.
I'll kick you in the ass.
Yeah,
even
we'll
if you
come
say
over.
even if you say that we are gonna do it.
So that's why I need to get outside today, is get a little
Yeah,
fucking
you'll get some vitamin
It's
D.
a beautiful day.
vitamin dick, and go shooty hoopies.
It's a beautiful day to be doing.
Thanks
the
for such a good fucking
It
podcast.
was a
We
great
needed to get
discussion.
back to this.
It
The
was a
past
great
couple
discussion.
episodes we've been just kind of joshing.
Yeah, I've
but
been shooting the
today
shit.
is
I ain't even
today's
been
been
here in
good.
an episode or two.
What are you doing?
Yeah, the
on
camera's
ground?
not on anymore, so you can just
I can
sit
sit
wherever the
wherever I
fuck
want.
you
I
want.
mean, that's
My back was hurting right there.
Were you scared of
Yeah,
posture?
I might. I'll grab a couple pillows for you all to lean against.
Goddamn pillow.
But either way, SchmutzCast 25 is a wrap. John is laying on the ground,
Sure is.
doing his thing.
What a good boy.
I'm gonna actually get a video of that so we can
Yeah,
show
clip that.
you all on the podcast.
It feels good
that-
on my back.
Right next to his
Once the
empty Taco
video
Bell
goes out,
bags.
immediately
Yes,
John
Taco
lays
Bell.
on the floor. The
Right.
the video goes out,
Right
John's
next to
on the
your
floor.
Double Dorgita Crunch wrapper with
No,
Dorgita
no,
Crunch.
It's a quesarito
Quesarito.
You can't even spell quesarito.
and
dummy.
some Cinnabons, bro.
Alright, bro.
I'm Papa Schmutz
I enjoy it.
Brandon Keibler here.
Johnny Will on the ground.
on the
Johnny on
ground.
the ground.
I'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.
SchmutzCast 25 is a wrap and cut.